Day in the life with me, the present dad, and my boy Max back there. So, going to pick up one of my kids from school. Max had a doctor's appointment, so he stayed home. This is what we're doing. How's everybody's day today? Oh, man. Another day. Another day. I'm eating crackers. To do that, but the weather's good out here. It looked like it's what, 72 out here in Austin, Texas, so glad for that. I wonder how the weather is in everybody else's area, especially Greenville. Routine 2 or 3 times a day. School pickups, training sessions, you name it, I do it. People ask me all the time, why do I do it? Because I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I love it. A lot of time to think, especially when the weather is good outside. Sometimes just roll the window down, take your mind somewhere else, and just think. Yep. Well, this is what I do 5-6 days a week. It never gets boring. Like I said, when you're driving, you can just sit here and take your mind and let it wander, you know? Especially if the weather is good outside, let the windows down, let the breeze hit you a little bit. But this is part of my daddy duties, being a stay-at-home dad, a present dad. This is part of it. This is part of it. So you have to be present as a caretaker, especially to a kid like Max with special needs. He's not feeling good some days. He can't go to school. You have to be able to be available to take care of him all day and still do the things you need to do for your other boys. So I've had a lot of practice with that over the years. And like I said earlier, it's not really that difficult. Time consuming, but not difficult. And for most of us who are adults, if you love your kids and you want to be around them and you want the best for them, you'll do this all day, every day. I would, if needed be. Because I want the best for our 3 boys. Sorry about the shaking of the phone, because I'm driving, so the phone's gonna shake a little bit. So if you're watching this, I apologize for that. I apologize. So how's everyone else's day going? April 2nd. One day after April Fools. Anybody get some April Fools pulled on them? I didn't get any pulled on me, but I almost thought some stuff happened, especially when they was talking about some sports stuff. About trading. What was that? I think I read some. Who was it? Travis Kelce for the wide receiver for the 49ers. I also think they had one in there about Tyreek Hill, about him retiring. I was like, nah, I don't think that's right. Or if you're not paying attention to the days, I didn't know it was April Fools, you would have believed the story. I hated the young man who passed away. It may have been Easter or yesterday, April 1st. Devontae Davis, the cornerback. I guess authorities found him in his, I think his grandmother found him in his home in Florida, unresponsive. Police said it was no foul play. Wondering what was his cause of death. He's only 35, so he was still relatively young. So hopefully, from the passing that it was, no foul play or any of that. Hate to see young man, pass so early. This little area I'm driving up right now, last week it was packed to the max. Hamilton Pool Road. Traffic was car to car, wall to wall for over an hour. Couldn't move. Got to the school late to pick up the boys. And I think the traffic was still backed up. I think when GJ got out, and I called him and told him. So on this one road right here, traffic can be kind of brutal sometimes. It can be brutal. What do you guys think about that NCAA women's? What do you guys think about Iowa beating LSU? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people. Hey, buddy. Smack Mac in the back. Yeah, so NCAA's women's basketball.
Bye-bye.
Iowa beating LSU, the defending national champions, who played a year ago in the national championship game, and LSU won the national championship, and Angel Reese was doing that. And so Caitlin Clark and her teammates got their revenge back last night. I'm pretty sure most of America was pulling for Iowa, especially since that bad article that came out a couple days, maybe a week ago, about the head coach of LSU and how she treated players and things of that nature. If that is true, it's not good. But that Clark, that young woman, she can ball. She's the real deal. She's legit. Now, I'm not going to say she could be, Diana Taurasi or Cheryl Swoops or Maya Moore or any of those individuals one-on-one. But she is legit. She is the face of women and men basketball right now. She will make her mark. She's made her mark in college. But just like when First Take and all these shows where they talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, she's gonna have to win the title to get in that GOAT conversation, because all of those individuals who I just named, the females, they all won at least one title. So she's in the Final Four. She's going to go up against Jean and that team, who's made a living in the Final Four. That's going to be a nice battle. And I'm pretty sure UConn and Gene, he's going to find a way to make the other four women on Caitlin's team, Caitlin Clark, beat UConn. I don't think he's going to be doing the single coverage and allowing her just to shoot threes. I'm pretty sure he's going to change it up, because I think, I didn't watch the game last night, but when they played USC, another #1 seed, and they got a great individual player in Juju, and from what I heard, they made life very difficult for her. Now, mind you, she's a freshman and Clark is a senior, but she's legit too, as well. So, but I think Gene, who has the most championships for women, I'm pretty sure he has a way to be able to design to stop her. I wouldn't necessarily say stop her, but to slow her down so she's not as effective, and also make her shoot a volume of shots to where the percentage is very low, and for her to get 40 points like she did last night, he's going to probably require her to shoot 40 shots. Now, we haven't seen that yet, but if anybody can do it, Jean can do it, and if Jean can't do it, I'm almost positive USC with Sean Day, with what's her name, Daly, they're going to be able to do it. So she has a tough road ahead, next 2 games, to try to get that championship that she's been longing for, but she's going to have to overcome a lot to get it. And now on the men's side, you know, most people look like it's a one-team tournament with UConn. And UConn has men and women, and Final Four, just like NC State has men and women. So that's pretty cool for each of those universities. But for the men's side, wow, NC State has been on a tear ever since the ACC tournament. So it's going to be very interesting when they play Purdue with that big old tall center. How are they going to be able to limit that individual? That guy's like 7'2". How is, I mean, DJ Burns, I'm assuming is, they got him listed at 6'9", but I'm pretty sure he's more 6'7". So my guy's 6'7" against a 7'2" guy. Man, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard to get that done. It's gonna be hard to guard that individual. And that young man seemed to have a chip on his shoulder as well, for being overlooked. And those are dangerous individuals who are playing with chips on their shoulder. And to go back to the women's side, I didn't know that Caitlin Clark wanted to go to UConn, and that Jean didn't even, look to recruit her or talk to her family. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be something that weighs on in the back of her head as well. And I'm pretty sure Gene has heard about it and he knows about it. So this is not like this is anything he hasn't, seen or prepared for, because I'm pretty sure he's faced some other young ladies who wanted to come to UConn, and they didn't get recruited there, so they was a little bitter. I wouldn't say bitter, but they take it personally, and she should take it personally. You do whatever you got to do to get yourself motivated and ready for the game. You got to do whatever you got to do, because it's not like in the NBA. It's not a 7-game series. It's 1 game and it's over. And for Clark, this is it for her. Her college career could be over with after this game, and she's gonna get drafted first overall pick by WNBA. She's gonna go and probably be a star in the WNBA. So this is not like she's gonna continue to be a great player now, but I know she still want that ring, because if she go to the WNBA and win the ring, I mean, that's cool and everything, but she will have a lot more help, because now she will be playing with professionals. And playing in college right now, it's sort of like playing with professionals, or some people take it like that. But I think on that Iowa team, I don't think she has anybody else that's possibly going to the WNBA. I could be wrong. But yeah, so college basketball, I usually don't watch it. But I've been watching it, and it's actually been pretty fun. It's actually been pretty fun to see, especially the NC States of the world, to play and go on these Cinderella runs, because it's crazy. The NC State coach, from the reports, he was on his way out, going into the NCAA, the ACC tournament. He was on his way out, and all of a sudden, they played? Virginia, and Virginia was up by 5 with like a minute to go, and the guy had 4 free throws, and he missed 3 of them, or 4, and it made it a 6-point, game with him making 1 free throw, and they go down and get a 3-point play, and then they filed the guy from Virginia on a 1-and-1, and he misses the 1-and-1, and some guy throws a lucky Hail Mary shot and bank it in and send it to overtime, and the rest has been history for NC State. And now this guy, by winning the ACC tournament, I think he automatically had a clause in his contract where he got an extension, and I'm pretty sure they added on to that, because now he's like one of the hottest commodities in the country. And they haven't been this far, but I think maybe like 40 years since 1983, from when the Jim Valvano coach that was at NC State. So man, suffice to say, if they end up winning this game against Purdue, which is going to be, it's going to be very tough because of the big tall guy in the middle, and I apologize to him, I don't know his name. If they get past this and they play UConn or Alabama in the national championship game, they got as good as a chance to win it as anybody. Guess that Cinderella story will go home. And the DJ Burns, the young man who transferred over, man, he's living the dream. No one knew who he was, but a month ago, now he's just selling t-shirts and everybody's behind him. And now they got rumor that the NFL is looking to draft him. So it is just crazy what a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of basketball could do for a person's life. I didn't hear of this young man all year, and now he's pretty much like a household name. So, but which is a credit and a testament to him of his, hard work and determination, because he, from what I heard, was a transfer, got in the portal, and ended up at NC State. He reminds me of like a Zach Randolph who used to play for the Grizzlies. He's left-handed, just like him, on the shorter side for his position, but I don't think he's as good of a player as of right now as Zach was. But his future looks bright, so we never know what ended up happening for that young man, because I'm pretty sure coming into this year or this tournament, most people wouldn't have thought that he was going to play as well as he's playing right now. So again, that's a testament to him and his family, coaching staff, teammates, everybody, around him, putting him in great positions, and him with taking advantage of it. So that's kind of cool. So it will be crazy if we have an UConn, NC State national championship for boys and girls, Because it's possible. Because UConn is playing Iowa, and I'm pretty sure Iowa, I don't know who's going to be the favorite in that. Maybe Iowa. Who knows? Maybe UConn. I don't know. But NC State, and they're playing on their, let me rephrase that. NC State plays University of South Carolina, so man, that's a tall task to ask. Beating the #1 overall team, the #1 team all year, undefeated team. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Man, it's gonna be tough. So the boys have a better shot of beating Purdue than I probably would say than the girls having a shot of beating, University of South Carolina girls. I don't think anybody is going to beat the University of South Carolina girls. I don't care if it was LSU or UConn or Iowa. I just think they're too dominant of a team. Their team is loaded from top to bottom. They got one of the best coaches in the country, and it seemed like they just load up every year. They're kind of like the Alabama of college football, but they're a women's basketball team, because it seemed like everybody on their team, goes to the WNBA and plays and gets drafted, and they seem to just reload with 5-star young ladies, 4- and 5-star talent wanting to come there and play. So, which is a testament of Coach Staley and their coaching staff and the university, that everybody wants to come to the University of South Carolina, and she's made that college a household name. Because before she was there, I don't think many people wanted to go to the University of South Carolina to play basketball. And I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. So, but that's cool. That is cool. So I don't think she will ever leave there. If she wins, I think this might be if she wins this one, I think maybe her 3rd national championship, and possibly 3rd undefeated season, maybe. That one I'm not sure of. She's already in the Hall of Fame as a player, big time player, an Olympian. I think she played, if I'm not mistaken, at the University of Temple, but I could be wrong. And if I am, excuse me for that mistake, but I know she was a great player in making it to the Naismith Hall of Fame. And now, if she wins this national championship, you may as well add her on as a coach. A Hall of Fame coach, a Hall of Fame player. That's unbelievable. It's not too many coaches in any profession, man or woman, to be able to do that, to be just as good of a coach as you were as a player, and make it to the highest level of your profession. And the Hall of Fame is the highest you can go. So if she can pull this off this year, there's no doubt that she's going to eventually go in as a coach, and that will be just phenomenal. And she would have deserved it, because those young women who come to the University of South Carolina Gamecocks and play for her, they love her. She seems like a no-nonsense coach, but she getting the job done, and those young ladies are loving the way she's pushing them. And man, when you can get a team and everybody from the best player all the way down follows the head coach, it will run through a brick wall, and everybody is unselfish And those teams are hard to stop. Usually you have those great teams, there's always one player who butts heads with the coach because he or she is a great player. But that don't seem to be the case for University of South Carolina or UConn. I think most women who come into the program for UConn or the University of South Carolina, and used to be like that for the University of Tennessee as well, with the late great, rest in peace, Pat Summitt. They used to know when you come here who is the boss. There's nobody bigger than the program than those coaches. And so Coach Staley has gotten that. She's at that stage with her program. And all these young 4 and 5 star ladies are buying into this. And when you can keep stacking up that type of talent, just like Nick Saban, it's hard to beat those teams. And the great thing about her, meaning Coach Staley, means she's young. She understands like the swag of all these young girls, the being hip, and the way college is with young people now. You know, that was where Nick Saban, he just couldn't keep up with that. And he just didn't like, he had that old school mentality. And that's just not the way of the athletes in today's age, you know, with the new millennials and all that. I mean, you know, as a coach or a player or whatever it may be, you got to adjust and adapt to your surroundings and how the way the world works now. And I mean, that's no different when you trying to be a coach of a big time program. You got to, you got to change how you do things. And that hard-nosed grinding and, cursing at kids and doing this and that, and, people with the NIL making a lot of money, that's just the way the world is now. And you got to be able to get around all that and still be a great coach. And Coach Staley has figured that out. But, she's a bit more younger than Coach Saban. So I think that's why she can be able to stay around longer and be on top longer, because she kind of gets what these young kids and these young girls who she's bringing in the program, what they're looking for. And if you notice, a lot of the girls on her team, they look similar to her. So she has a way of being able to connect with them and talk to them and how they were brought up and their home life and things of that nature. Not only is she a coach to them, but she can also be their mentor and help them with things that most coaches off the field cannot, because they probably can't. A lot of these coaches can't relate to a lot of these young African American girls, their background. They can't relate to that. And I think Coach Staley can relate to this, and that's why a lot of those girls are going to her program, because she's very relatable. And that helps out a lot. You got to be able to relate to people. Again, in this day and age, you can't have it, one shoe fits all. It's just not that way anymore. I mean, all the coaches that have that mentality, they're all gone. Saban, Belichick, Carroll, they're all gone. The older coaches are gone. It's all the new coaches 32, 35, 40 kids, coaches who understand what's going on in the world today, how things are different, and how people are trying to have these brands, and not just, I'm not saying it's right to have all these things going on while you're a professional athlete or in college. Back in the day when we went to school, you just you're focusing on the sport, that you're playing and, you know, trying to get good grades. But now people get the NIL deals, and, you know, they got the big brands, and, you know, all that, you know, takes a lot of time away from school, takes a lot of time away from, you know, studying. I mean, it takes a lot of time, but hey, you know, that's the way it is now, and we all have to adjust to it. And programs that are doing well, they're able to do that. They're able to adjust and, you know, let these kids be able to have their brands and make their money and do all the stuff that they want to do and still play their sport. That's where all the kids are going. They're going to where they could do it all, and they have a chance to make and maximize, you know, their money making potential. And I'm not mad at that. I'm happy for all the kids. So I hopefully one day my son can do that, you know. But, you know, you just hope that, you know, these young people, when they get all that money, hopefully, you know, they're doing, not just getting all these fancy cars and stuff like that, and that they are saving that money just in case they don't go to the professional ranks, so they will have, you know, a pretty good nest egg waiting for them after they're done with their college career. But that's easier said than done. Imagine giving a 19-year-old, you know, $500,000, $1 million. You really think they're gonna put it in a bank account and not spend it? Exactly. So, you know, hopefully their parents are helping them, you know, manage the money correctly, making sure they pay their taxes, because, you know, you got to pay the taxes on it, or you don't want to be an example, end up going to jail. Because, you know, Uncle Sam, yeah, he know you made some money. He want his money. We all know that. He got to have his money. So, yeah, I'm almost at my son's school. Oh yeah, also I wanted to ask you guys, do you guys, everybody out there listening, what do you think about Ice Cube offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to come and play for the Big Three? Now, you know, the Big Three is, you know, basketball 3-on-3, where a lot of the players are older players from the NBA or overseas, or that were really good in college, but right now can't play in the NBA, and they played 3-on-3 in that. Do you think is beneficial or worth her while to do that, to take that $5 million and play that 1 year and then go to the WNBA? Or do you think she should just go ahead and get drafted first overall by the WNBA and go ahead and start a career? Now, mind you, she's going to make her salary for, I think her first season is going to be like around $77,000, you know, $1,000, not $5 million. So that's whew, man, that is a big step down in salary. Hey, Matt, you coming up here? Go up. You got it? Good job. Yeah, so we're at the school now, waiting on one of my boys. So you need help? You got it? Good job. Yeah, you're gonna let the window down. I guess you're gonna try to see if it's flag. see if his flag is going to fly. Can you see him? See, he likes to put his flag out. That's usually what he does when I'm driving. Kind of hang his flag out of the window and let the wind hit it and just let it flow. So I got about a 40-minute wait for my son. You don't get up here in time before school's end. The line is all the way down the street, and it takes forever to pick up the kids. So I get here about 30-40 minutes and get in the pickup line and try to be one of the first ones, so I can try to beat some of the traffic, because the traffic can be very brutal. If anybody knows about these middle school pickup lines, it can be brutal. It can be brutal. I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna ask me to move so they can get by. And it seemed like with all this March Madness, from the excuse me, this March Madness from the men and women's team, it seemed like we haven't said too much about the NBA. I mean, you know, they rarely talk about the WNBA anyway. I wish they did, but they don't. But NBA, don't hear a lot about it. You know, you usually hear some about the Joker going for his third MVP, or if LeBron does something really well at the age of almost 40, they may say something about that. But right now, college basketball, especially women, and Caitlin Clark and DJ Burns and those individuals are just dominating. I mean, you don't even hear a lot about the number one team, which is University of South Carolina. I haven't heard anything about them. They're just like basically under the radar. And I'm pretty sure Coach Staley is enjoying that. You know, when you're the number one overall team and, you know, nobody is really bothering you and you're standing under the radar, head coaches love that. You know, because Caitlin Clark, rightfully so, is getting all the headlines. You know, she's getting all the headlines. They talking about her legacy, and you know, I just heard it on the sports shows today. What did yesterday game against LSU do for her legacy and all? I haven't heard anything about USC. Not USC, yeah, USC, but not the one in Southern California, the Gamecocks. You know, I heard about, what is it, they talked about UConn some, but it was mostly about Clark. So it's gonna be interesting on, and I bet you if you, in confidence, if you ask Coach Staley, she's loving that their team is staying under the radar. Because as a team, especially a great team and a team who is vying to be a champion, they love staying under the radar, not talking about them, keeping them out of the news. They love that. They love that. And with everything that's going on with Iowa and NC State, they're able to keep doing that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. You know, I think this, again, It's going to be really interesting on how this plays out. How it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. It's going to be great. Again, it's good for women's basketball. And hopefully, you know, with Caitlin Clark coming to the WNBA, you know, and a lot of those other young girls, young women, nah, I wouldn't say girls, but young women coming to the WNBA, the sport, you know, have a lot of young people, a lot of young sports stars, you know, up and coming, and hopefully the WNBA can get like the same viewership as the women's tournament, you know, the March Madness. If they can do that, they can start generating more money for these young women, and then these young women can make more money playing in the WNBA versus having to go over to Russia and these other countries to make a good living. So hopefully all this stuff comes about, and you know, with the emergence of all these great young women, that more fans start tuning in and watching, and with that bringing more money to the players. Hope so. Really do hope so. Really do. But yeah, it's but yeah, this is the life, the day in the life of me, George, the president dad. All the time, this is what I do. Every day. Every single day. Tomorrow is going to be another good day. Another great day. I look at it as if, you know, if I wake up, it's a great day. It's a great day. I try to take Mac's attitude with everything. Mac's just try to enjoy life. And that's cool. Max don't worry about anything. As long as he got his flags, his cords, his iPad, his headphones, he is good. He is good. Try to stay hydrated. Try to drink a lot of water every day. Keep my skin in good shape, and you know, drinking the water keep everything's running naturally, and you know, flushing all the toxins out and stuff like that. So gotta drink that water. And I know a lot of people hate drinking water. I wouldn't necessarily say I like to drink water too, but I know there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And so I try to not drink it by the jugs. Like you'll see individuals carrying around in a jug. Like I won't do it like that. That would get boring. So I kind of get one of those Yeti, you know, cups that you can put ice in, keep the water, hey man, keep the water real cold. And I just drink water like that and just add it as I go along. As the water get low, I just keep adding more and more water, and it keeps the water pretty cold. And it's, you know, maybe it's like a mental thing in my head, or I think I can drink more water by doing it that way. I don't think so, but whatever way I can get all the water down, I try to get two gallons a day. I gotta at least get a gallon in, at the least a gallon, but on most days I try to get 2 gallons of water a day. You know, that is suffice and enough for my body. You know, I try not to ever walk around dehydrated or anything like that. That's the first thing I try to do when I get up in the morning. Use the bathroom, number one, and drink 16 ounces of water. Try to hydrate myself really quickly, and then drink some more. I try to get in 32 ounces before we leave the house to, you know, I take the boys to school. And then from that point, then I can go to the gym and I'm somewhat fully hydrated. So, you know, I'm not doing anything that's super complicated. No, I'm just doing basic stuff when you think about it. But the basic stuff has worked for me. I still do all the basic stuff when it comes to like weightlifting. Just stick to the basics. None of that fancy stuff with, you know, all the crazy movements and stuff like that. No, just a basic. Yeah. Yeah. That's too loud. Just the basic movements. Max, don't do that. Just the basic movements that I've always done since high school. And it served me pretty well. You know, I know a lot of people who do that new school training with, you know, all the different angles. And I try some angles as well. Don't get me wrong, I try angles as well too. But for the most part, I just try to stick to basic push-pull exercises. Nothing that's really crazy, and I try to be very cautious with certain body parts like my back, my hips, my knees. I make sure that when I'm, you know, doing any type of exercises or weight, that I'm like fully locked in, making sure I'm paying attention to everything, because all it takes is for one wrong movement to injure a body part. So, you know, try to take it as seriously as possible. But for the most part, I'm in as good a shape as I probably have ever been. I'm just as strong as I was when I was in high school or college. I mean, you know, my weight is pretty much about the same. I've been weighing the same amount probably for over 40 some years. I think the biggest difference is the gray. A lot more gray now, which is cool. Doesn't bother me. Never has. I think I grayed early anyway. I started having gray hair early. I remember I used to want to get it plucked out, but it got to a point where it was just beginning to be too much. You know, so it just eventually took over. So now it's taken over, and I got more gray. Well, I would say I got more gray in my facial hair, you know, more gray than black. Now on my head, I would say I got more black than gray. I think in the very front right here is a lot more gray in my head. It's not bad. You know, what are you guys doing back there in Greenville or wherever you may be? I hope life is treating you well. Hope, you're having, your family members are healthy, being the best human being you can be. Like I've always said, try to be the best version of yourself and surround yourselves with like-minded people. Always try to do that. I think if you go that route, you can never go wrong. But sometimes it's hard to find people who have the same energy, the same mindset, the same goals. I think that's kind of hard sometimes. But they're out there. There's a lot of people out there who want to be with or be around or be associated with like-minded people. And they're all over social media. Don't go in these crazy websites and stuff and just be meeting total strangers and have them to come over, especially if you're a female. Don't do anything like that. I don't mean anything like that. Nothing like that. And if you can't find anybody that's like-minded, it's okay to stick to yourself. It's okay. When you need a pat on the back, that's why you have two hands. You can pat yourself sometime on the back, especially if it's well-deserved. You don't need anybody else to give you a pat on the back. If you did the necessary stuff to give yourself a pat on the back. Hey, mama. Okay. The allergies are kicking Mac's butt. And I'm pretty sure the allergies are kicking a lot of people's rear end around the country. They're really bad out here in Texas. My car that I'm driving, this kind of a dark color car, but the car looks green from all the pollen that has fallen on the car. And so that stuff, I'm just breathing it in, and the kids breathing it in. So we're trying to be proactive and take the nasal spray at night and take the Zyrtex. Yes? That's too loud. They take the nasal spray at night, take the Zyrtex in the morning, and trying to combat and lower the allergies. But it seems sometimes that don't even work, because I think once you get these allergies and you don't stay on top of them, they can be pretty brutal. And so that's what I'm trying to do, stay on top of mine, and I'm trying to remind the kids to stay on top of theirs. And we had rain last night too. We had like a little thunder and lightning and stuff like that. So I think that was not good for it had all this pollen get all over the cars and all over the house and the ground and things like that. So it kind of had the allergy stuff to kind of be a little bit heavier than normal. Well, that's the day in the life. You see how my day and how my life goes. Just wanted you guys to see it. I hope everybody have a good rest of the week. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys' support. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.